Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, we're going to be painting this adorable little puppy named Macy. I've added a little Santa hat to make it Christmassy, and yeah, we'll show you step by step all the way through to start to finish how to paint this adorable little guy. I got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, buddy.
He's man in chat tonight, so if you've got questions, you can ask those in chat. Let's get started. Bye. Bye.
Hi, we're back.
You can tell it's one of those nights. All right. Yeah, there's no telling what's going to come out of
That was a whole tutorial right there. Just
at the end. Bye.
Adios.
I'm using a Fredrix blue label canvas tonight. This is the 12 by 12 size. You can really adjust this however you want. I decided to just make it easier, you know, for time constraints and not do the whole body of the puppy, just the kind of the head and the hat. I thought that was the cutest part anyways. And I think we'll add, I don't know, some kind of soft greenery or something behind in the background. I'm going to try to keep it fairly simple in the background, though, because we want to make sure that we have plenty of room for our puppy. Oh, yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Just saw that little thing here. So let's, I've painted the background of this with a very light coat of burnt sienna, and I wiped it on with a cloth so that it was very transparent. It's kind of patchy on the sides here, but you can see, you know, obviously burnt sienna in thicker form would be a lot darker. I added some glazing liquid to help thin it out, and lots of water. Sprayed the canvas and just kind of spread it on really thin. All right, and it's fully dry now, and I'm going to just use chalk to draw. Let me go over our colors though before I get started with that. I've got carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide. Those will be our powerhouse colors for most of the puppy. Then I've got India yellow, Cadmium Red Medium, Quinacridone Magenta, Ultramarine Blue, and Phthalo Green Yellow shade, Unbleached Titanium, Titanium White, Gloss Glazing Liquid. The reds, if you substitute a different color for the scarf, so just change up those colors for whatever, you know, color you decide to do your scarf and hat. And same thing with the blue and the green. Those are going to be, I'll use a little bit of the blue in the puppy, but the green obviously is for the background. So if you decide not to do the background the same as mine, it would, you know, the colors would change. So this is fully customizable, I think. And somebody was asking about painting their puppy. Yeah, by all means. Hopefully by now I've had a few puppy videos. I don't count last year's because last year's looked more like a gremlin in the stocking than a puppy, but but we do have other dog videos on YouTube. And I would say, you know, any animal with fur that is a similar color to your pet could be substituted. So if you see even a cat or something like that, as long as the eyes and the nose of the dog are going to be pretty much the same. And then the coloring you can pull from other videos if you have another one that you see that I've done that is similar. So it doesn't have to be this exact same colors.
I wasn't paying attention. Did you mention the name of the person?
No. Oh, no, Gail. Yes, thank you to Gail DeRowan, who provided this photo of Macy, the puppy. So
she's in chat, so say hi.
Yeah, hey, Gail, thank you. Yeah, she contacted me a few weeks ago and you know, asked if I had a video of a golden retriever puppy. And I said, you know, I don't think I do. And she sent me this one, and I loved it, and added that little hat for Christmas. So, yeah, really fun. Thank you to Gail. All right, so for the brushes, I'm probably going to use a lot of the stiffer bristled brushes to get that fur texture, and we'll paint it kind of loosely. Since it's a Tuesday night, we're not going to spend a ton of time. I'm also should mention that there's a link down in the chat or in the description of this video. If you click on more underneath the video, should open up the description of the video, which has all the links to my social media and where to buy the materials and things that I'm using, but also has a link to support Cinnamon Cooney, my friend and colleague and collaborator over the years. She passed this week, actually last Tuesday. And yeah, it's been a rough week. So tonight's dedicated to her, and I know you guys are going to miss her a ton. Those who knew her, she really inspired me to be a better artist, and I know she did thousands, hundreds of thousands of people all over the world. So anyhow, this was for Cinnamon tonight. So, all right, let's get going here. I'm going to try not to cry. Whew. Too late. All right, so face, I think we're going to put the face right in here, and leave a little bit of room for the hat. I just use my fingers to kind of judge scarf here, so maybe a little bit less room for the face. So I'm just going to kind of mark out sort of the top of the hat there. The margins kind of, you know, where the scarf is going to go, kind of in there, and then the body somewhere in there like that. Okay, so that'll give us our margins, and then for the puppy face, once we know kind of where the chin is and where, now this isn't the top of the head, this is kind of more like where that hat is setting there, but we're gonna kind of angle up towards that hat rim, and let's go ahead and just kind of mark that out. That'll be the easy, just kind of a triangle here, and then a kind of a long dangly triangle here, and this one's kind of a folded over triangle there. So this one, a triangle with the curved thing, and then we'll have the little ball pom-pom right there. And then the little ears are going to come out here and here, and angle back in toward the face. Like that. Then the head. So it makes a kind of a diamond almost with top and bottom cut off, and I'm not sure. Pentagon, is that 1, 2, 3, 4? No, I don't know. Don't make me do math right now.
Geometry.
I don't know the name of that. All right, so a little eyebrow, the eye shape. Eyes are fairly close together. I might move them out just a little bit more than that. Like that. And then round them out. I might go up just a little bit more too. So somewhere in there, and then just draw a triangle kind of like that, and then that will be the top of the nose. And just kind of square off that bottom part. But that's kind of where the nose is, and then like that. All right, so there's our puppy. The eyes look weird, but we'll figure it out. Okay, and then our scarf coming down like this and down like that. All right, I think that's it. Not too hard. If you kind of just go in order there. All right, so let's, oh, I should mention these are the Princeton Aspen and the Princeton VelvetTouch brushes. So the Aspen brushes are the kind of almost like faux hog bristle brushes that I like to use. All right, so I think I'm going to use the 4 short Filbert, number 4 short Filbert here. And how's everybody doing tonight?
Everybody's doing great.
Good. Ready for Christmas?
Some are, some aren't.
We got half our Christmas tree up and quit.
Well, the full Christmas tree is up.
Half of our ornaments, I should say, yes.
Third of the ornaments are up.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. About a third of the ornaments, not a half.
And we're like, yep.
It looks good to me. Does it look good to you? That's
It looks
pretty much how the conversation went.
It looked good with nothing on it.
It did look good with nothing on it, yeah. With the lights and stuff. We almost did that. And I was like, we just bought like 6 new ornaments this year. We bought a bunch when we were on our trip in England, and all the different places we went. We got a different one. So we had one from Stonehenge and York, and Cotswold, a couple from Cotswolds and Bath. I don't know if we didn't get one from Bath, but anyhow, we had a bunch. So we're like, it'd be a shame to have bought all those and not put them on the old tree. Okay, so for our puppy, let's go ahead and kind of pre-mix our colors here for him. That way we can just dip into them as we go. It'll make it kind of go faster. So I'm going to get the pretty good dollop of that yellow oxide. I think that's going to be kind of our base color. And actually the unbleached titanium is almost perfect, perfectly the color that I'm seeing on the dog. And then I'm going to get a little bit of the burnt umber and then a good amount of white here. And I'm just going to mix up a kind of a mid yellow, but that yellow oxide is going to provide a nice neutral base, so it's not going to be too bright yellow. So this will be in our darker areas of the puppy's fur, and I might go a little bit more brown here. I did the burnt sienna underneath because there is a little bit of reddish here and there. Now the filter that I did on my photo to kind of stylize it a little bit made the puppy a little bit more reddish than the one in the photo. So I'm gonna not do it super red though. I'm gonna kind of go more natural, which had kind of brown tones in it. So that'll be a good yellow to use, and then I'm gonna pull some of that out here and then get a little bit more of my burnt umber. I grabbed a little bit of that burnt sienna too, and do a nice neutral brown, and I think I'm going to add just a little bit of blue, and what that'll do is gray out this color too. So that blue with the burnt umber will create a gray, and adding it to this yellow mixture. Now if it looks green to you, you've gone too much blue, so just use caution. You can always add more, but you know, start out slow and don't add too much blue right off the bat. Just a little dab will do to neutralize it. It's already a neutral color, so you're just graying it out just a little bit more. Okay, so there's a nice color there. And then in our darkest areas, I'll go ahead and grab a little bit more of that burnt umber and just a little bit of yellow oxide this time, maybe a little bit of the burnt sienna, and then some of that ultramarine blue. And I don't want to go more than 50% blue to that burnt umber, so just kind of, you know, keep an eye on that. So it's almost 50-50 burnt umber and blue, and then a little bit of the yellow oxide. And I still had a little bit of that brown on my palette knife here too, this color on my palette knife. So all right, so this will be kind of our dark shadowy colors in the fur, and then we can always use black and burnt umber straight to glaze too. We don't have a ton of this, but there is a little bit of areas in the around the ears and things where we've got a nice brown. All right, so there we go. That's a nice neutral brown. I like that a lot. I'm gonna scrape this off with my brush, and let's just go ahead and grab some of that unbleached titanium and mix it with what is right here. So I've got yet another brown that's very grayed out, almost gray. Okay, just a little bit of yellow in that color.
This is reminding me of your bonus video for beginners, where you were doing the coloring and showing the color wheel and how to get all that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's
if you're a Patreon supporter, go check it out.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
really good.
It's a good
A lot of good
Right.
information
Yeah,
in
we
that
went
one.
over 2 hours of color mixing stuff on Saturday, or no, Friday. Last Friday. So, all right. So I think that'll do, and I'll just be adding white and unbleached titanium to this here. Let me go ahead and grab a little bit more of that. I'm going to kind of do kind of a 50-50 of white and unbleached titanium here for the main puppy fur. Yeah, that's good. All those little bright spots in the fur. And then we'll have the straight version of both of these colors to use too, you know, obviously. And our browns and stuff. Okay, so let me, before we start painting, I'm gonna clean off my palette knife because you can tell where I haven't cleaned it. It needs to be, you can actually soak it in alcohol for a little bit and most of that will come right off. So I just need to do that.
Give it to your studio staff to clean up.
Okay, here.
Well, not right now.
Oh,
I'm
all
just
right.
telling people if they just give it to their studio staff. That's what happens here sometimes.
Have studio staff except for on Tuesday nights for 2 hours. So to use it wisely.
Hey, Don and I have hung out in the after party many a times.
Who?
Don,
Dawn, who?
the dishwashing liquid. Knows
Oh,
washing your
that's true.
brushes.
Mark has washed my brushes. Yeah.
That's the
Probably 6 times this year, maybe.
that's the. Excuse me. It depends on a full calendar. So. Okay, truth. Hashtag.
On actuality, I kind of prefer doing it myself because I don't
I don't trust him.
I have control issues. Okay, let's just put it that way.
Hey, I learned I did the laundry bad enough once, and I
right.
never had to do it again.
No, right.
It's
exactly.
awesome. I mean, I just wish I had done better.
Okay. Just wiped off the parts that I didn't want there. Yeah, I'm noticing that I left a lot of forehead there, so I may bring that cap down a little bit more, but we'll see. So I've got a little bit of that gray and this yellow, this light color here, and let's just go ahead and kind of start blocking in. I don't want to go too light with this, but the puppy's pretty light colored in general, so I'm just gonna kind of start blocking in around those areas that I'm seeing kind of some highlights and leaving a little bit of that orangey color. This looks very gray, and putting it on, you know, over the top of that orange, doesn't it? Okay. And then in this creases here is that darker color. So I'm just kind of using this brush to scrub it in, blend it into that wet paint that I just put in. And around the muzzle here, there's a lot of darker color. Maybe get some of that mid-tone yellow and use that. So I'll put my brightest colors of the puppy in my, probably in this general area here. Nose, parts that are coming out towards me. On the side of the muzzle here, there's a little bit of a highlight to define that. And then on the ears, they're a little bit darker toned. So I'm going to get some of that yellow and mid dark color there. And I probably need to work on that background too before I do my final kind of fuzziness on the ears, because we want them to look kind of, you know, floofy. This puppy. Darken up that area where the hat's going to set. Okay. It's a little creepy looking right now, but we'll get it there. It always looks a little creepy when you first get it on there.
Okay,
What are you laughing at?
I've got to do it.
What?
And Jazz says, this looks like a teenage TikTok makeup tutorial so far.
With the contouring. I like it. That's funny. I see that.
That's awesome. But on a...
It's going to get worse, so just buckle up.
Maybe we can have Ben just do the short with just this part here.
Yeah, exactly.
Makeup tutorials.
Look, using that lighter color along that edge there. Our light source is coming from this direction.
But I have a quick question.
Okay.
Somebody wants to know, what exactly does glazing medium do again?
The glazing medium makes that paint bind to the canvas when I thin it out real thin like this. So, because I was wanting a thin coat of paint and had to add lots of water, you have to add that glazing liquid so that paint will not scrub off when you do this, if I was paint over it. If I hadn't added glazing liquid, it would just come right off the canvas. So it just helps that paint to bind to the canvas. It already, it's still not fully cured, so it did take a little bit of it off, but you get the idea. Like it would fully wipe it off, basically. It just doesn't have a lot of binder. When you use, I say my paints doesn't have a lot of binder because I'm using professional quality acrylics and they have more pigment. You kind of have to sacrifice, something, and so they don't have a ton of binder in them because you want, more pigment. That's what you're paying for when you're paying for professional paints. And so I'm going to get some burnt umber here with my black, and we'll just kind of start blocking in our nose and eyes. But the downside is that if you add too much water, then your paint won't stick to the canvas very well. So whenever you're going to add a lot of water, you're going to add a lot of water, then make sure you're adding some sort of binder. It doesn't have to be glazing liquid. It can be matte medium or just any kind of polymer, acrylic polymer emulsion. And most mediums will be made of that, if they're saying for acrylics. So right, just doing a little bit light color on top of there. That's probably a little bit big, and then let's go ahead and kind of just tap in below for that little mustache he has. Kind of that dark area all underneath. And I'll make it darker, but I'm just going to start out kind of light-ish and work my way out towards the darker color. Get a little bit more of it and define that lip split there that comes up under the mouth. There's a lot of wet paint right there, so it's not wanting to stick. They always look a little sad, these golden retriever puppies, to me. They kind of have this droopy muzzle thing happening.
They know how to work it.
Yeah, they do. They know how to work it. Puppadog guys. Fitzy does that, with us too. When he's angling for treats or whatever. Shows us the white of his eyes. Watched a show the other night. They were saying that dogs are one of the only animal species that does that. That shows, I think, the only, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but basically that's one of their, evolutionary adaptations to help them, win at the game of getting along with humans. And one of the things that was saying also, it's not survival of the fittest, it's survival of the friendliest. That dogs have learned that, the best way to adapt, and really wolves were one of the only great predator species from way back when. I think bears and I can't remember what the other one was. Bears, wolves, and something else was the only ones that have survived, throughout the ages. I don't know. I can't remember what show it was. something about the mind of a dog or something was on Netflix. But it was interesting, and they basically was saying that, you know, because they've learned to be friendly and adapt, that they're one of the most successful animal species out there because of, you know, they're friendly.
They've suckered us into
Exactly.
carrying around their poop in a plastic bag.
Exactly.
How that happened, I don't know. But yeah, if aliens ever visited Earth, they'd think that dogs were in charge because we're doing that.
Yeah, they get to. Yep. Exactly. All right. So just adding the darker areas around the margins of the face here, kind of especially like right around the face, between the face and the scarf. Right in there is going to be our darkest areas in our dog. Yeah, he looks scary right now. This is normal. This is how all animal tutorials always look a little scary before they get better. So I'm going to get...
I'm over here hoping that you'd paint in the eyes black just so that we get that good hollow look for a little while.
I'm going to do... Yes. I'm going to do the eyes right now.
We'll zoom in.
I'm getting my white or my black, and I've switched to a 2 round. 2 round. Okay, so...
Let this haunt you.
No, it's when the black goes in, it's always better.
Oh
yeah. Be quiet. I need to kind of change that shape there a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna take some of that gray brown here, maybe some of the darker one, mix a little bit of that black into it, and just use it kind of around the eyes to set them into the face. And just be kind of sketchy about it. You don't have to be super precise here. Just kind of be gestural. Just kind of keep them in that same general area. I'm wiping it out, and then I'm going to just kind of smudge it out a little bit. Bring it down towards the nose a little bit. And sort of right in here, there's sort of kind of that triangle area. There's a little bit of it that comes in out there too. Okay. Just going to add some of that dark area right there. And this is literally just dry brushing. You can see that the texture of the canvas through. We get a little bit more of the black and add it sort of right in the middle. Make sure that area is nice and dark. And then towards the outside, I'm going to get some burnt sienna and just kind of try to add a little bit of brown in there. It may not show up very much, but just try to get a little bit of brown just to have a different color in there. And then I'm going to get that burnt sienna, mix in some of that light white color here, and come right up underneath my smudgy area and sort of just clean up those edges a little bit with that. It's just kind of transition between that really dark and the light that'll be also in this area. Generally, when you're doing eyes or anything like dark that's kind of in the face, in order to keep it from looking like a sticker, having a little margin of a slightly mid-tone color that goes between that light lightest color and the darkest color helps that transition tremendously. And you'll see it just all of a sudden will start to look more natural, because it's never kind of like stuck on there without, you know, any kind of transition. There's always some sort of little bit of a gray, or like bird's eyes do the same thing. You know, if you watched last week, we did that around the cardinal's eye. We had that black on top of the red, but then we added just a little bit of gray, and it just helps that transition between that really bright and really dark area. And okay, so let's go ahead and grab some more of that yellow now, or white-ish color, I should say. This one here, this lightest color. And then let's go ahead and start kind of adding in some little gestural brush strokes. And comb it over the little eyebrows, so cute. Try not to cover up all of that brown there that I've made, but just trying to start to look at my pictures, see where my lightest areas are. That's where I'm hitting right now. Kind of light in places where I don't want too much coverage. So like right here where I'm transitioning to the gray, I'm just barely touching and kind of tapping so that I'm getting kind of a little bit of that gray still showing through. Okay, and then let's do the same thing over here. I have not gotten any more paint here, so I'm just still using what's on my brush, tapping in. Let's kind of create a little bit of a light gray right here on the lip. Okay. And the more paint is gone, the more I'm going to go into these mid-tone areas now instead of the lightest areas. These are the kind of areas where I'm seeing kind of grays and things. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch to my more yellowish color now and use that sort of along these outer borders, and then blend it kind of up and over around these areas here between the eyes. There is a little bit of a darker area there, so let me get a little bit more of that kind of mid-tone. Use some of that right there. Kind of up underneath the eye there between them. I'm looking at my picture to see what direction I'm seeing that fur happen, and usually it kind of goes out at an angle from the eyes and then up and out that way. So this forehead fur is going to come up and angle out like that. And then around the fur, the nose will come kind of straight down towards us. But then as soon as it kind of comes by the eye, it's going to start to angle out. other side. Okay, so getting there, getting that kind of cute puppy feel. It's starting to look a little cuter. What are you talking about?
I was just noticing that in the picture, the dog's nose is a little rounder.
Yeah.
I know you'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my Captain Obvious stuff on right here.
Like that.
So did you get all your Christmas shopping done?
Most of it.
Got all mine done, right? No comments? Okay.
Most of it.
That's all that matters.
Yes.
And the grandkids.
Yes. Yeah, that's been fun.
Those people in between, who cares about them anymore?
No. Yeah, it's fun buying for kids again. There's a few years there when we just had teenagers and adults in the house, and it's not nearly as fun.
Yeah, because we asked our youngest son, Spencer, what he wants for Christmas, and he's such an easygoing guy. You know,
I know.
It's just like, it's hard to get him anything because he's like, I don't need anything and whatever. And
Yeah,
that's
you need
true.
a new phone?
Always.
No, I've had the same one for 5 years. I'm fine.
Yeah, it works. It's fine. And he goes, I don't know, electric toothbrush.
Yep. We're not lying. That's exactly what he asked for. Yeah.
Wow.
He's like you.
That's easy.
You are exactly like that. I'm like, you want some new shoes? No, I got some. Good. I'm like, waste. I bought him new
I'm
moccasins the other year,
Oh.
and he still hasn't, I don't think, gotten them out of the package. Oh, are you now wearing them?
No.
No? Are those the new one?
No, these are the old ones.
So he's still wearing his old ones. He still hasn't.
She bought me new ones 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm still wearing the old ones.
Yeah. Why? They're worn out. I don't get it.
Well, you remember the picture I posted of with my socks with the
Getting
holes in them?
some burnt
right?
sienna here and adding it to my yellow. What?
So do you remember the picture I posted with the socks with the holes in them?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
This is what I'm dealing with, people.
I don't know. They're just comfy.
That's all right.
The left one doesn't have its tie on it anymore, so I can't tie it up.
Uh-oh. Okay, so adding that yellow there, just added that light yellow, and then I added a little bit of burnt sienna with this yellow. So these two colors on the ears there. Kind of did the yellow kind of close to the head and on this side. And we'll add some more along the edges, but we need to do the background probably. Not probably, we do need to do the background, but let me think if I want to do it now or if I want to wait. Let's go ahead and kind of get our first layer of our hat on here. I think I'm going to change up the color of the, well, I don't know. We'll just do red hat. I was thinking I might change this color, but it's too late to mess with it. So we'll do that. I'm going to bring it down a little bit because I am going to kind of bring this down on the forehead a little bit more. I'm not showing what I'm doing here.
I'm sorry.
Getting a little bit of black and adding that. I added a little bit of burnt magenta to my red here. So in that crease area, I want that darker color. cute. Cute, cute, cute. Right, and then let's go ahead and we want to do the red too, just like the picture. I do want to do a different color on the scarf on the.
I'm not the person to ask,
Okay.
but chat will answer, I'm sure.
Okay.
We'll give you better.
Chat,
guidance.
tell me what you think. I can do whatever color. That's cute. He's cute. I do think we need more red down here somewhere, so it depends on what we do the background. I'm not going to do the wood tone and stuff. I just did that to give it a different kind of tone. I just wanted greenery mostly, I think. But, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do...
We have 5 reds so
Okay.
far.
Okay. Just do the red then.
Somebody said do the scarf. Mark's favorite color. Red, red, red.
Let's do it. Mark's favorite color? What is your favorite color? I don't think I even know that. Blue? What?
There you go.
Yeah, I thought so.
Ding, 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 ding. Yours is kind of that tealy,
Yeah.
minty color.
Yes. Aqua.
Aqua Velva.
Aqua green. Aqua green blue. It's kind of in between. Cobalt teal is probably close.
Voila.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring that down just a little bit more. And make sure when you do this that you bring it out from the shoulders a little bit so that it's wider than his shoulders. Cute. Okay. Getting that dark color. Add some dark on this side. Whoop, that is dark. Didn't really mean to do black, but that's all right. Just adding some streaks through here, and then we'll refine it later. Okay, cute. All right, so let's figure out how we want to do our background. Get my big brush here. I really honestly don't mind this kind of orangey color, but it isn't screaming Christmas to me. So, and I want something that'll contrast with the puppy though.
Cat.
So I might go with a, what?
A cat.
Okay.
Gotta keep you on your toes.
No comment. So we could do, let me think. Let's go ahead and while I'm thinking, I'm gonna put in the hat. Get some light blue and burnt umber here. And put in the hat brim too. Bringing it out from that hat. Okay. Yeah, super cute. All right, I think I'm just going to use greens. I think that'll be good. And I think I'll just kind of fill it up with different greens and add some maybe some ornaments to it. So I'm going to start with my phthalo green. Let me spray these so that now that I'm not using them actively, they'll stay wet. Get some unbleached titanium. And that phthalo green is very bright. It's like, it's way too saturated on its own. And if you want to start out with a green that's not so in your face, like I'm green, you can for sure do that. You know, if you've got a green that you like sap green or something else that's pre-mixed green, do it. We're just going to neutralize it by adding some burnt sienna or burnt umber, or both. Probably both at times. Yeah, that'll be nice. That'll be kind of a nice little contrasty green. I'm going to need a lot more than that. So I added a little bit of ultramarine blue too. So I'm just going to kind of, I don't know, I could, if I wanted to, I could just kind of do like this and leave that green, do kind of over, you know, over it. Leave that orangey at the top and stuff, and just kind of do like there's greens around him in different directions. That was my original thought, maybe. Kind of like that, and just sort of do it in different directions all around him.
Yeah.
And we'll do some darker and lighter, and maybe a little bit over the top of him in here, kind of like he's sitting in or under the Christmas tree. So I'd probably do this first, though. You know, I kind of have to do some of this opposite when I'm doing these videos, just because it takes so long for stuff like this to dry. But if I was just doing this for myself, I would probably, or, you know, in the studio and didn't have to wait for it to dry with people watching me, you know, I would probably do this first, then do the dog. So just kind of know that going in, that this may not be the most efficient order of doing things. But I do like this orangey color kind of glowing through, so I don't think I'm going to cover up everything. I wasn't liking how solid that was looking there. So, and just kind of doing it in different directions. Slapping that on. And that may be all I do. I don't know. We'll see. I think I might add a little bit more like contrast, so maybe get that darker, a little bit darker, more saturated color, not adding any white this time. And I'll just go through here and add some little streaks through here that are a little bit darker, and think Christmas.
So the dog is pretty much done, right? He's given that look like, bring me treats.
He's almost done.
Just don't do the eyes, and I think they're perfect the way they are. He will give me treats.
Human. Yeah. Fitzy has been very, very needy lately. Very needy.
Since the 3 grandkids were here.
Yes. The grandkids and our trip in September. But yeah, I think mostly it's the grandkids at Christmas time. He just, since Thanksgiving, it's just like every time I sit down, he is on my lap.
Just wait till next week.
Yeah. It's cute. Cute, cute. All right, let's keep going here. Got one more darker. And this time I'm gonna try to do a few little actual kind of pick a center line and just kind of go in opposite directions back and forth along that center line. If you want to draw a line, you can, you know, draw a line down and then just go back and forth. Back and forth, and try to keep my lines kind of thin too. It's cute. Very stylized, but I don't mind it. It's kind of got that, I don't know what I'm trying to think of. That may be doing too much, but I kind of like it.
It's like saying there's too much dark chocolate. Don't know if there's such a
No
thing.
such thing.
Don't think so.
Okay. I'm gonna go a little bit darker, like right around his head there. Just so those ears show up a little bit darker. I didn't mean for it to be that thick, but and I know I'm going over him a little bit. That's okay. We'll fix it next for this next layer on his body. There we go. Yeah, just kind of darkening up around him a little bit so that he is going to show up a little bit more. Okay. Again, this is probably better done before you put the dog on. But okay, so what we'll do is add some lighter colors later and maybe a couple of Christmas balls. We've got an hour, so we'll see how fast we can get him
Ornaments.
done. Huh?
Ornaments.
Ornaments, sorry. That's a blast from the past. Oh gosh. Who was it sent us those Christmas ornaments? One said balls, one said ornaments.
Oh, I remember that.
One for me and one for you.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh gosh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. I want to say it was Patricia something, Patricia Painter or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah, that's you. Let me know in chat. But yeah, that was awesome. All right, so this is mostly done. You know, I put this paint on pretty thick, so it's going to take it a minute to dry. So so if you did the puppy in better order than I did, you may have to dry him fully before you know, after you put his first layers on, because especially this part is still really wet in that part. But I can work on his hat. So let's go ahead and put a shadow up underneath that hat brim. That'll be the first order of business here. Let's get some burnt umber. And a little bit of glaze. I'm just gonna kind of go across here first, and then wipe my brush out. And while that's still wet, just kind of pull it down, pull across, blend out that edge. And that way, if you finish the face, you don't have to worry about. And then I usually use just a cloth or my finger and just kind of tap off any extra that's too, went on too thick. Wipe it off. This is all wet, so I can still mess with it for a bit. All right, getting a little bit more burnt umber. And let's go over here and add a little bit in the ears. Again, kind of just trying to blend out any. It doesn't have to look good right now. We're just adding dark back in over here. Make sure there's some dark underneath there. Really kind of dry brushing more than glazing here, but just adding back in some of that darkness. Okay, and there's a little fold in the ears that's kind of coming in right in here, in here. So adding those in right now is good, because then when we put our light color in, we won't have to do it later. We may do it again though. Let's see. Let's go ahead and put this in. Shadow. Wipe off my brush. Pull it down. And just blend out any thick bits. Okay. Do the same thing over here. You can see where I have and haven't done it, how obvious it is, because it really does help make that scarf look like it's set in and not just pasted on. Okay. Get a little bit darker, get a little bit more dark right there. Wipe that brush out. I don't want water here. If I have too much water, I'll just wipe everything off. So I just need a little bit of just a damp brush. Okay. Thank you. Struggling to keep it on camera there.
I zoomed in for the hat shadow.
Thank you.
Distracted.
Okay. Let's go ahead and, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of room here. I probably could have done this on a flag or a, video or a canvas like this, like a vertical canvas. I probably could have squished it in here, but we got room to play. All right, so getting some of that white-ish, my lightest color. I'm going to grab some of this that had this gray mixed in and start there. Maybe get some of that yellow. This is really soupy now because I sprayed it and then it just sat there and getting wet. And let's go ahead and get some of that and give him kind of a shoulder. And then out a little bit. And get a little bit my thicker paint here because my paint has gone kind of gooey on me. Yeah, cute. Okay. And then over here on my shadow side, I'm going to use some of that a little bit darker color. Maybe a little bit of this yellowy color. I need to just wipe off this palette because this whole area is just a big mud puddle right now. So I'm going to get my cloth here and try to get some of that off from where I sprayed it. It's just all wet here. And every time I try to pick it up, it just picks up a big goop of wet, watery paint, which is not really usable for what I'm needing it to do, right? Okay, much better. So the main area wasn't wet, it was just this area that was kind of pre-mixed, you know. All right, so that's good. Let's go ahead and use that yellowish color here to put a few little, oh, come on here, get over there. Painting with hair. Oh my gosh, it's still on there. Come off. Go away. All right, no hair. Made Christmas cookies today. Got a cookie party tomorrow. Started it with my friend Stacy when we were both of us had our young sons that were a month apart. I mean, we had them in the same daycare class, so we made cookies, Christmas cookies for their teachers, and then it just became something we did every year, and so it's been 20-something years now. How old is Nicholas and Spencer now?
23.
Yeah, so 23 years. 23 years of cookies. And we have way more sprinkles than any one person needs, and I always buy more every year. And then I get out the huge tote of sprinkles and like, oh my gosh. But they always come out with cute new colors every year. It's just, I blame the Christmas sprinkle people. They just have the cutest ones every year that come out. This year I got some that are kind of neutral colors, so this made me think of it because they're like brown and gold sprinkles. A lot of gold. So may have some neutral colored cookies this year. Since I'm on a neutral kick, a lot of my Christmas tutorials this year. All right, so I think that's pretty much what I'm going to do for the body. I might do a few like obvious brush strokes in here for, you know, some textured fur. Just kind of using the edge of that brush and pulling down. Press the brush flat, and then you'll be able to get, you know, straight lines out of it. And it's really just kind of a back and forth when it comes to fur. But especially this kind of fur is pretty forgiving because you're not having to, you know, do these fine, delicate little brush strokes. I'm going to give it a little bit dark right here because of the arm. It's kind of right in that area, or starting at least. Kind of hint at it right there with a little bit of the darker color. And just kind of keep the direction going down with your brush strokes. You know, I'm not filling in side to side or doing anything weird. Just kind of always keeping in mind the direction that the fur is laying and making sure that I'm pulling my brush strokes in that direction. Always. All right, let's do a little bit more on the ears here. I'm going to get a little bit more of that dark brown and a little bit of burnt sienna. And I'm going to come up along the outside edge of those ears and kind of fill that in. We already kind of put in some dark color, but I'm trying to define them a little bit more. And then let's go ahead and get clean that out really good. Let's go ahead and get our light color. And maybe a little bit of the yellow. Press that flat. And I'm gonna flick out to create these little wispy bits, and I'm starting kind of at the end and I'm going to come in towards the middle because I want nice wispy stuff happening along the edge of the ears there. Cute. And then just overlapping, leave a little bit of that dark showing so that I'm not covering up all of the contrast there. It's all about kind of, with fur especially, it's kind of the way you layer. You don't ever want to layer in a straight line. You know, as I'm doing my brush strokes, I'm making sure that some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. So as I'm laying these down, I'm kind of working my brush up and back and doing this sort of a motion. And constantly moving up and down, side to side, so that I'm not creating any obvious patterns. That's the kiss of death when it comes to, you know, any fur you're wanting to. Let me do it on paper here so you kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. Maybe. See if I can find a practice fair. There we go. So you don't want to be doing anything where you're evenly spaced and evenly patterned, you know. So instead of that, what I'm doing is, just going to use my thinned out paint here. Instead of going in straight lines and putting my fur in like this and then, you know, coming in like this, because then you're just going to end up with this weird looking comb effect. What you're wanting to do is do one up, one down, one longer, one up, one down, one longer, kind of crisscrossing them a little bit like that, okay? So that you're ending up with a kind of raggedy edge. Even if I'm doing an even edge, I can still have a little bit of crisscrossy, so that even, you know, I'm getting a straight line here, but you've just got the littlest bit of in and out. And these brush strokes some are shorter and some are longer. They're not all evenly spaced and not all the same size and width and everything. This is what will help it look more natural. And then the other thing is just the next layer. Once you do your next layer, like here, I didn't leave myself much leeway because I did these all kind of evenly right here. And so I'll have a harder time blending this in. When I do my next layer, I can kind of try to come up and down a little bit more on here to blend it in. But you can see how much white space is still showing, and that's our dark space on our dog here that we're leaving. But on this one, I did a little bit better job because you can see how both sides are uneven, and then that way when I do my next layer in here, I can kind of come in and tuck in different different things in between, and it'll look normal. You know, it'll look more natural. And keeping in mind just, you know, that all of my brush strokes are going in, you know, these directions. They're all going down, and none of them are going to, you know, be heading in a weird way. Even if there is crossover, it's very minute. It's this. It's not, you know, this. So I'll just X out of that. Not that. Okay, got it. So I know I'm kind of going through this fast as far as on the dog, so I just want to make sure that I'm explaining it. I'm doing a good job of, so that you can get good results. That's the whole idea. I want you guys to be able to do this or something like it. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, and I don't want it to be, you know, I want you to put your own spin on things. But it's just a way to get you started. No matter what animal you're doing, that's pretty much a good rule of thumb, is that kind of way of layering. Cute. He's adorable. Or she, I should say, Macy. Guessing it's a girl from the name. And not all of the fur is going to be super fuzzy. Some of it is a little bit more smooth. So like down in this area, I can kind of just go with a more smooth brush stroke, because it's not as textured. A little bit darker right here where that crease is. Come on. Got a lot of layers of paint here, so it's not wanting to lay down new paint right now. I'm just going back over there because it was starting to look a little bit too fuzzy everywhere. Just smoothing out some of those little bits. I'm going to bring this out with a little bit of burnt sienna. Change the shape of that ear to be a little bit more pointed right here. I know Fitzy's groaning. He's like, is it 2 hours yet? He's such a teenager. My dog. It's like he knows I'm painting another dog. Maybe he hears me saying dog. I don't know.
Just don't say the S word.
Squirrel. He's got this walk that he does when there's a squirrel at the door, where he just gets his head low, just slinky. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
It's like a cat. Prowl.
Yeah, just low, head down, tail down, low to the ground, and slink to look out the back door, wherever the squirrels are feasting on our bird feeders. Okay, so there we go. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Got a little fuzziness, a little bit smooth in places. I'm going to kind of bring that out just a little bit more right there. Love it. All right, the face is looking pretty good. I'm going to get a little bit more of my white and for my light color here and kind of just bring it up over the nose and down around. A little bit just to bring that forward, and then also above the eyes right here, these eyebrows have A lot of white. Cute. And then right here, there's a little bit here and here. There we go. And then we can use this yellow, a little bit of the burnt sienna, just to kind of add a little bit of texture to that part of the face there. There, and maybe right in here. Anywhere where it's really obvious or it looks kind of, you know, uneven. This is where you kind of make these small adjustments and add, you know, a little bit of color. Most of the face is pretty light though, so I'm not going to be doing a ton of contrast in this general area. The colors that we're using are going to fall all in the, you know, mostly in this range here on the face. Just not a lot of contrast, but if we do it right, it's going to look okay. If it's looking too flat anywhere, you know, you may want to check and see if you need to add just a little bit of these midtones, you know, to bring it out. It won't take much, but we want our lightest part to be right here, a little bit around the mouth, and then above and then below the eyes. And if you do that, I think it'll work.
So in that show that we were referring to earlier, I think I remember them saying that the retrievers were a dark breed. And then there was this.
There was a mutation that happened, and they were a hunting dog, I think.
Yeah. And then one guy was like, hey, I like that.
Yeah.
And started to intentionally breed them, and they weren't accepted at first.
Right.
Because they were very different.
Yeah.
But then it caught on.
Yep.
And they were like the #1 dog in the U.S. for
many years.
Many years until recently. The English Bulldog.
No, Labrador Retriever was the number
Labrador.
one dog.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the English Bulldog is the #1 now. Which is weird because I can think of way more people that have Labradors than English Bulldogs. I don't know one person with an English Bulldog, you know.
Well, maybe in cities. The smaller,
maybe in cities. Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
Us country folk
That's
have
true.
bigger dogs.
Yeah. A lot of our neighbors have labs. Okay. Cute. He's cute. I love it. All right, let's do his eyes. He won't be so creepy looking. Go ahead and zoom on in here.
One last time.
All right, so there's a little bit of white. So I'll put a little bit of gray, mix up a little bit of gray, and we'll use that for the white. You never want to use white for your gray part of an eye. Even on humans, it's never really white. So we'll do just a little bit of a little hint kind of here and here. Like that. Cuten them up a little bit. And then I'm going to do some black and grab that gray again and do kind of a dark gray for my lid. So I'm just figure out where my lid is, sort of in the dark area around the eye. Do a little bit of a lid. This is not that white part, this is below it. And get a little bit more black here, and I kind of went over. I want a little bit of black on either side of this dark gray line.
Hey, real quick, what brush is that?
This is the 2 round.
Thank you.
In the velvet, or the aspen. Okay, so there we go. Then let's kind of cut that upper eyelid and make sure I have a little bit of a lightness there. So maybe get a little bit of that yellow and give him some little eyelashes coming out like that. Okay. Doesn't have to look like eyelashes, but just, you know, you just want a little bit of a line there. That's what those are. It's the eyelashes. Go a little bit more over here. Okay. And with this dog, you don't have to worry about this, but I'm going to go ahead and get some black and just make sure that I have a nice dark, get that black and just make sure I have a nice dark line all the way across the top of that eye, and that sets that eyeball into the face. If you don't do that, it looks like it's floating or stuck on, and we talked about that. Okay, so get some black, make sure I have a nice pupil. Right, I still see a little bit of that brown, which is nice. But if you did this gray, you definitely want a little bit of that black that's at the top of that eye to go over that gray right there and there. That'll help set it in to the eye. Let's use a little bit of this gray on the nose too. So right across the top of the nose, I'm just going to dibble dabble, leaving the black here and underneath. This is just the top edge of the nose. And then a little bit of a highlight where those nostrils are. Okay, and that's about all we're going to have to do on the nose. We don't have to do a ton. You can maybe, I've wiped off most of it and do a little bit of a hint of where that midline is maybe. Okay, and then maybe get a little bit more of the black, kind of a mid dark gray, and sort of go over the top and bottom area. Just make sure it's looking clean. And then if you don't have it dark enough, you want to have a nice dark nostril. So go in there and do a nice dark nostril on those. And they have a weird shape. They kind of cut up underneath right here. So make sure that there's a kind of a dark line going out right there. Okay. And you should end up with sort of a heart shape for the nose. Slightly indented in the middle there. Okay, and then let's get some white and a little bit of glaze, a little bit of my Ultramarine Blue. And generally the highlights in the eye will have a little bit of blue in them because they're catching daylight. If you're indoors, you know, it'd probably be more yellowish, but we're gonna give them some blue. And just kind of go across with this glazed out. Now if you want to use zinc white, you can. I'm just going to go across the eye and add some really transparent highlights in that eye. And just dab it on randomly. Okay? It's amazing how that just, boom, all of a sudden looks much more natural, right? Then I'm going to get my brightest white and flatten my brush a little bit, and I'm just going to pick one spot in each eye. It doesn't really matter where it is. I usually do it kind of just slightly off center and on the pupil part, and I like to do it in the same place on both eyes, as if, you know, it's hitting the same light source is catching both of them. And there we go. So Let's do a little, very, very tiny little white dots there on the nose too to make them extra specially cute. All right. Very good. Getting that white, and I'm going to put a little bit of the, or this is not the white, but the light tan, I should say. And I'm just going to kind of go around the nose here and make sure I've got that nose shaped out and looking good. Okay, I think he's good. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and kind of fix this chin area. It's looking a little bit untended. So just dab on some for there. Obviously that's too bright, but I can kind of dab off or use my brush and sort of cute. And it kind of comes down a little bit more than I have it, so I'm going to bring this muzzle down just a little bit, maybe get a little bit more of my brownish color for that. And this is where you can kind of shape out the face a little bit, you know, and make smaller adjustments if you see that the, you know, the mouth or the chin or the anything, you know, needs adjusting. Maybe bring that down so it matches the other side. And leave it pretty dark in this whole area. There we go. Cute. All right, so then let's get my, I'm going to go back to my Filbert, and I'm going to get my red, Cadmium Red, and I'm going to do a second coat on here, and it should show a little bit of that dark showing through. I may not have to do a whole lot more than this. I'm putting on fairly thick. I'm going to get some of that magenta and just add some of that. Cute. And then let's get some of that black. I really like using black when I'm shadowing with red. It just makes it, neutralizes it, darkens it up, but doesn't, I don't know, just a good color. You can also use purple, really any dark color, but just prefer kind of black. It's one of the few times I do use black to shade anything. Let's go ahead and do the scarf. Okay, cute. I keep saying that, sorry. Can't help it. I wonder if Noah's watching tonight.
Haven't seen any.
Bet she'd like this one. My granddaughter likes to watch sometimes. She's 2. We'll have 2 granddaughters that are 2. But Noah's the only one that generally shows up for the shows occasionally. All right, getting the white with my cadmium red here. And I'm going to put in, it's always tough kind of with red. So if your red goes too pink, you can add a little bit of that yellow. So I'm going to grab a little bit of that India yellow and add that with my white to this red. And that will keep my highlighted red from looking too...
The underground art thief just said,
Hi, Noah.
They were lurking.
Nice. You watching me paint a puppy? It's not quite like Fitzpickle. Yeah, when we went up there a couple weeks ago, we went to a cat cafe place. It was like a...
It was the rescue.
Rescue, yeah, that's the word. Yeah. You could go in and play with the cats. It's like the best thing ever. It was so cool. And we're lucky we didn't come home with a cat. That's all I'm saying.
Or 3.
Or 3, yeah. I know. There was one that was adorable. That was, yeah, super friendly. Just kind of going around and playing, and oh my gosh, it was so cute. All right, so there we go. And little highlights and things. If you want to put any fancy stuff on the scarf, I might do some little pattern. I like to do like little snowflakes or something in the scarf, so maybe get some white and we can... Well, no, I'm not going to do it because I've already kind of finished it now that I think about it. But I am going to add some little white streaks in the hair with my number 2 round here. And just wherever my brightest areas are. Try to be careful not to overdo this because it'll really show up. Use my finger to kind of blend it out here and there, but just wherever I want just a little bit more highlight. Oh, he's so cute. And there is kind of a little area that I kind of missed that goes down here, so let's go ahead and kind of from the corner of the nose down to the corner of the mouth there. There's kind of a highlight right there that I lost. And let's do it on this side too. Not as dark on this side. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And let's do the white on the hat. So I'm going to do, actually, you're going to use this, that color there. I still had a little bit, it looks like gray or something on my, or maybe I picked up some in my white there. So it's kind of a light gray. And I'm just going to fluff it and try not to cover too much I want to leave a little bit of that darker undertone showing. And this is tricky because it's picking up that red. You may want to wait for your red hat to dry all the way. Cute. And get the bright white and then just pick your highlight spot, and maybe not right along the edge, but just sort of close to it and to one side here. Highlight on your little pom-pom. And then same thing on the hat. I'm making it more like fuzzy hat instead of the felty part on this. I like the fuzzy. If you're doing it smooth, obviously you just kind of do this sort of like we did the hat part and do it sort of more smooth instead of tapping. And I need to get a little bit of gray here and use that along the edge of the hat. And I could wait for this to dry and do this later, or I can just try to get in some gray now while it's wet. Maybe go a little bit darker. Just along that edge and sort of toward the bottom of where it curls under too. You'll see a little bit of darkening, a little bit of a shadow. And where it's going away from us, or maybe not catching the light anywhere, you know. There we go. And do a little bit on this too, just at the bottom to this one side, especially if you covered any of it up with your greenery. Okay, so we're good. I think we're done with the puppy. And so let's do our background here and kind of figure out what we want to do there. I think I want to add a little bit more detail to my greens. So I'm going to get some white and my phthalo green, and let's get some yellow oxide. There we go. That'll give us a nice neutral green, and we can just do some more light tones. A couple sprigs of greenery here going off the canvas. Nice. Okay. Let's do another one here. And might do a little bit of a stem. Like the stems are generally kind of brownish, so I might do just tap in like a little bit of burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide. So let's do kind of right here and then kind of coming down like this. Okay, giving us sort of some places to point to. Not too much water there. Got too much water. Here we go. And just kind of angle your brush strokes side to side. Make sure you have some coming up the middle too. You know, some are going to be growing straight up toward the middle. They're not all side to side. And overlap, just like the fur, you know, where you don't want them to be all the same shape and direction. So just side to side, up and down. Crossover. Really fun. I like this color too. It's a nice soft green. It's not too overpowering. So, it's a good choice. It's good with the background. A little bit of that burnt sienna peeking through here and there. And again, if we want to, you can add ornaments. I don't think I'm going to add ornaments. I don't think we're going to have time for it tonight, but I do have, you know, lots of tutorials for ornaments that have ornaments in them.
Somebody suggested maybe some bokeh lights.
Yeah, yeah, I could maybe add a couple. That's a good idea. And then they don't all have to be connected to anything. I can kind of, yeah. That's cute. I like it. It's different. I've never done the background quite like this before. I like it though. It feels a little bit more fresh, not so
predictable.
Yeah, a little bit more artistic, maybe. And kind of makes you free to try your own thing. Maybe you can do combine some of my other tutorials and put in your own bits that you like.
Explore the space.
This one is kind of weird. You know, if you had a Christmas tree, you'd have everything kind of going in one, you know, direction. So this is not necessarily like he's in front of a Christmas tree. This is more like focused around him, you know. But I don't mind.
It works.
Yeah. Kind of fun. All right. Yeah, so for bokeh effects,
You don't have to.
no, it's a good idea. We can do a few lights. Let's go ahead and get some of that light color. And yeah, if I was going to do bokeh, I would really kind of probably approach the background differently. But I think I can make it work. Don't want it to look too much like he's got spotlights around his head is all. So just doing little circles, keeping them fuzzy. Yeah, that works. And then just go back in and add more next to them, overlap them a little bit. Really, if you're doing bokeh, you kind of would have the more colors too, you know, but I'm just going to kind of stick with these neutrals, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's because it's kind of a lens flare. Light, everything is kind of out of focus, so having the greenery so in focus kind of doesn't work with it so much. If I thought about that, I probably would have, you know, because I can't at this point. It's too late. I can't. I can make my greenery less obvious. No, it's fine. It's not bad. It's just that I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't have made my greenery as, I would have probably left my greenery the way it was before I did that last step, because it's all about, everything's out of focus with bokeh.
Right.
That's
right.
why everything is so, all the lights are so.
Well, if the lights are closer and you're focused in on the dog, then they're still going to be, they'll be flared out.
What are you talking about?
Well, depending on the focal length. So if the lights are like more in the foreground than the dog and the branches, then they're going to be out of focus if you're focused further back. If the lights are in the tree, then yes, I agree. But we'll say that the lights are in front of the dog, and the dog and the trees are back in focus.
Well, this makes sense only if the tree's lit up. That's what this is.
Not in my world.
Okay. I'm adding some
You
yellow.
don't know.
It's fine. Yeah, I kind of liked it without the lights, but that's just me. I'm going to get a little bit of white and put some, I can make them look like twinkly lights instead of bokeh. We'll just put a little bit of light highlight in some of them. It's kind of fun.
Well, I do honestly like it.
Okay.
I like that. It's different. Mm-hmm. Makes you go,
All right, so let's, just to finish it off, I'm going to add some darker green back in over some things. I think it needs it. And go up over some of these lights here. Just add one more layer of detail. It doesn't have to be everywhere, but I feel like some of these a little bit too light everywhere, so just adding a little bit. And this is where Mark was saying, some of this, so the lights are now in the background of some of this, and some of these greeneries now are more front focused and therefore makes sense for them to be more in focus than the lights. So, all right. I do like the soft green though with the lights. I'm not gonna splatter because that I don't need to. I don't need it. I don't think it needs it. Okay, there we go. Really fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
We did.
Ooh, super chat. I'm gonna glaze while you're doing that. Just gonna add a few little details of shading.
Get the Christmas cowbells going.
I like it. I like it.
All right. I think that worked.
Burnt umber and burnt sienna.
First super chat was from Laura.
Oh.
She then said, "Love you guys, Merry Christmas."
Oh, thank you, Laura.
So,
That's very
thank
sweet.
you, Laura. That's
thank
awesome.
you.
And then our second one was from our old friend Cindy.
Oh,
says, Happy holidays.
Thank you, Cindy. Very generous.
Because
Appreciate that.
Incredibly awesome.
Wow, y'all are sweet. Hope you have a wonderful holiday too. We're looking forward to a little bit of a break. This will be our last one for a couple weeks. Last video for a couple weeks.
The last YouTube video for 2024.
Yeah.
It's the wraps.
Yep. I don't know how many we did this year. I will feel like it was probably
around 50. Yeah, well,
No, more than that.
No, because we were gone during September.
Yeah, but I had videos for all those weeks. So,
okay. Well, there's 52 weeks in a year,
okay.
so around 50.
Yeah, around 50. Yep. It's about right. Because we didn't do Saturdays this year.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm not including the Thursday shows and the bonus videos. This is just the YouTube shows.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. For sure.
All you amazing people out there.
Yes. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, watching, sharing. We really appreciate you. Hopefully you'll use the time off to watch some of our recorded videos. Paint along with us. If you share, you can share, if you do paint along, you can share it on my social media. Links down in the description for all of that. And yeah, we're gonna be having fun doing some puzzles and Christmas cookies, crafting with the grandkids. We'll have a house full. It'll be a lot of fun. And what?
We got another one came in.
Oh.
I was just waiting for it to pop up on the feed here, but
Oh, okay.
to post it on air. Oh, there it goes finally. Here it is.
Ruza.
Yeah. Thank you very
Ruzia.
much.
Oh, thank you.
So we had a good
Hope I'm saying that right.
contingency from Hawaii tonight.
We did.
We
Nice.
had 3 or 4 people from Hawaii.
I
So
like it.
I'm already starting the discussions to have a art retreat in Hawaii. And there's other mainlanders and stuff that are like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm looking for like maybe February 2026
Okay.
to do an art retreat in Hawaii.
That'd be really fun.
People are like, hey, if it's cold, we want to go where it's warm. And I don't blame them.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. We hope you have a wonderful Christmas. If you can donate, there's a link down in the description for to donate to Cinnamon Cooney's family because she was their main breadwinner. So I know not only that, just just to help with the expenses of all of, I don't know. It's just such a tragedy. She is my age, literally the same exact age as me, and we started YouTube together way back in the 2010s, and she was the first YouTuber to reach out to me and collaborate and all that. So
yeah, you went to her house down there in Houston, and
right.
you
Yeah,
painted
we did
together.
we painted together in person, and yeah, and
did
we painted
several collaborations.
several collaborations over the years. We both got really busy with our channels once they started to really take off, and so we didn't in recent years do as much collaborating, but she always was really good about touching base with me from time to time.
You guys would always keep in touch behind the scenes.
Yeah, right.
The
Yeah, even
the artist underground.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it was just nice. And she was always very encouraging to me and other artists, very inclusive. And I just, I'm going to miss her terribly. It's hard to know that, when something happens, like she's not going to be there to be like, oh my gosh, did you see that? So anyhow, if you think of her and want to help their family, there's a link down in the description. And at the very least, keep on watching her videos because she has probably twice what I did. She was incredibly prolific and just a really amazing art ambassador. So this one's for Cinnamon. She's going to be missed. All right. Thank you guys so much. Happy holidays, and we'll see you next time. Bye.